Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. And on today's video, I will be sharing with you my cabin crew journey. A lot of you has been sending me messages asking me how I became a cabin crew, what did I go through when I was planning to become a cabin crew. That is why I decided to make this video for everybody who's curious and interested on how I became a cabin crew in the first place. So if you're interested to find out my story, just keep on watching. Very beginning, just to give you a brief background about myself. Not a lot of you would know that I came from a nursing background. So I graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing from Pamantasan na Lungsod ng Maynila in the year 2010. But before that, a lot of people would often tell me, you know, you should take up tourism or what is this, HRM, because it's going to be easier for you to get a job, or you can be a flight attendant and stuff like that. But I really had a different plan for myself because since I was a little kid, I really wanted to be a doctor. So in my head, I was thinking, no, I will take up nursing because during that time, there was like a huge boom among nurses in the Philippines as well. So it's like, no, I want to be a doctor. I will take up nursing, and so I will take it like a pre-med sort of and take a few more units and then continue to medicine. That was my plan. I graduated in the year 2010, so I was preparing for my board exam that was scheduled for December 2010, same year. So while I was preparing for that exam, well, obviously I graduated March and the exam is still in December, so I was thinking of taking up like, you know, to get a job and all, but my parents wouldn't allow me. Maybe like 6 months leading to the exam, I was just studying, like very busy. I would like to add as well that this period in my family's life wasn't that good because we weren't really financially stable at that time because my dad got sick, so he had to stop working, and I have two other siblings and all of us were studying, and Jeff was also in college that time. So I realized that why should I put my parents into so much more trouble of trying to find money and how to finance my studies. And it's also not fair to my siblings as well because that time Jeff had to stop for 1 year from schooling just to give way for me to continue my studies. And because we did not have enough money, and since I was already graduating, it was decided that they will just pay for my school instead, because if I graduate, there will be a more chance of me getting a better job and I could help out the family as well. So that was the plan. And yeah, that's when I thought that, it's enough. I already have a 4-year degree, and it wouldn't be fair for my siblings as well that my parents are gonna finance my studies again, and everybody will just suffer because of, just because I wanted to be a doctor. So, yeah. Finally, December 2010 came, and I took the board exam. And after that, I was left with so much time in my hands that I got so bored at home. I started looking for jobs online. So I was pretty much a bum for almost 2 months until finally I saw online that a local airline was gonna have a recruitment day. That was Cebu Pacific. So all the thoughts of people telling me, you should be a flight attendant, you should be a flight attendant, started rushing back to me, and I thought, why don't I give it a try? Why don't I try it out? Because anyway, I have nothing else to do. So while I'm waiting for my the results of my exam to come out, at least I'll be busy with something. So I rushed home. I I told my mama about that Cebu Pacific is hiring that time, and she was so all for it. I think my mom is I think she's a frustrated flight attendant as well. That's why she supported all the way. Because when I would tell her I want to work in a call center, she's like, no. But when I told her that I want to be I want to try out for Cebu Pacific to be a flight attendant, she was like all for it. Like she's super supportive about it. So now I told my mom about it. I told my papa about it, and they were okay with it. Even Paolo, who's still my boyfriend at that time, was very supportive about it. Now, my problem was I don't have anything to wear. Like I really don't have any business attire because obviously when I'm in nursing school, all I had to wear was the uniform and the nursing like, the PLM uniform and the nursing uniform, which is a white uniform. I never had to wear any business attire for anything. So obviously I didn't have one. So I was like so stressed about it because I didn't have the money to buy a full set of business suit as well because it's quite expensive, like if you're gonna buy a new one. And plus I didn't have the time to get like to get a custom made suit for me. So the solution was my mom and I we went to this Ukay Ukay. And Ukay Ukay, for those of you who are not from the Philippines, Ukay Ukay is like a thrift shop where you will be able to get second-hand items, like pre-loved items. Yeah, so we went there and it was really memorable for me because that's where we would usually shop. My mom and I would usually shop in Ukay Ukay to buy clothes and stuff. So now I was able to buy a skirt, a blouse, and a blazer, and even my shoes. Imagine that. My shoes is from Ukay Ukay. But yeah, why not? That was all that we could afford at that time. So I prepared my resume, I took my photo, I went to this very cheap place for photos. I didn't even go to Great Image like where other applicants would usually go because for me, Great Image is quite expensive. So I went to this very cheap studio close to my house. I think I paid for the full-length photo and the passport photo for just less than 100 pesos. So fairly cheap for a photo. Like personally, my thought was that as long as I'm able to comply with the dress code, as long as I have my resume and my photos, that's fine. Doesn't matter if I bought my clothes in Ukay Ukay or that I went to a cheap photo studio to get my photos. I mean, what's wrong with that, right? That's all I could afford at that time. Finally, the day for the interview came. I can still remember it was February of 2011. I woke up really early that time because I wanted to prepare everything. Plus, my mom and I would commute because we didn't have a car that time. So we will have to commute. So I have to wake up early, prepare all my things, bring my resume, my photos, and my shoes inside my bag. So just to check that I did not leave anything behind. So yeah. So we took the bus, and then after that, we took the jeepney to go to Cebu Pacific Training and Development Center. I don't know if they still have that until now, but yeah, that's where we went. We crossed the street, my super detailed. So by the time we reached there, it was I think maybe 8 in the morning, and there was already a queue. And I was given the number 29, but I'm like, wow, I think this is gonna be my lucky day because 29 is also my birthday. So it's like, wow, I think this is a sign from the universe that this is gonna be my day. So now I sat down, I waited for my turn. When it was finally my turn, me along with 4 other girls were asked to go inside. Were asked to go inside the room, and then they initially did the height test, which was the minimum height for Cebu Pacific that time was 5 feet 3 inches, and they had to do the physical check and check the knees, check the arms for any scars and whatnot. As I remember, I barely made it on their 5'3" mark. I don't know why, but I felt that it was really high because I know my height, I'm like 5'4", but I was just barely on the line for the 5'3". Good thing I managed to like put my body really straight so I could reach that line. Like at least my head or my hair could reach that line of 5'3". So yeah, I passed that initial screening. So I was asked to go back the next day for the group interview, and if you pass a group interview, you do the final interview. So the next day came, and I wore the same thing because I only had one set. So what I wore the first day was, once we went home, my mom washed it and then ironed it, and then I wore it again the next day. Why not? And so I went for the group interview. It was quite funny because it was my first time to go on a proper interview. I've never been interviewed for any job before. So I was like sort of testing the waters, like how the other girls are doing, because I was talking to them outside, and most of them has already done it for like 3 or 4 times, that they've already been, like they've tried 3 or 4 times to apply for Cebu Pacific. And so I was trying to get some ideas, and they all had papers that they were studying. Like they were studying about when Cebu Pacific was established, what are the achievements of the airline, and I had nothing. Zero. I was trying my best to stay away from that topic during the group interview, and whenever they would start discussing stuff about the airline, I'm quiet. And then whenever there would be a chance to like, you know, butt in other topics that is not related to the airline, that's the only time that I would speak, because really I knew nothing about the airline. I think I've mentioned this in the previous in my one of my previous videos before. I knew nothing. Luckily, I passed the group interview. So we were made to wait for, because that was morning, so we were asked to wait for until maybe after lunch to do our final interview. So now, the final interview, I still remember it like it was just yesterday. It was so clear. It's still so clear in my head, like what happened in my final interview. So like what I said in my previous video, I was asked the dreaded question. What do you know about our airline? So yeah, like what I said in my previous video, oh my god, my hands started sweating because I really did not know anything. So I just said like stuff on the top of my head, something like to be honest, I wanted to be honest with the person who was doing my interview. It's like, to be honest, I really don't know anything about the airline, but all I know is that once I stepped inside this building, all I saw was smiling faces, and I would really love to work with an airline who makes their employees happy. So that's what I said. It made her happy. Of course, I also promised her that I would try to learn more about the airline before I even start with the training and stuff like that. So yeah, now end of the day, me and a couple of the other girls who turned out to be my batchmates, hello batch 75 of Cebu Pacific, we were asked to step outside of the building, and we were handed envelopes, and inside that envelope was a letter that will say if you passed or if you did not. And we were all scared, so we were on a circle. I don't know if they still remember this, but yeah, we were all in a circle, and my mom was still there. I was the only one who had a parent with me. When we opened the envelope, I saw that I passed. My mom cried, and oh my god, I think I'm gonna cry right now. I also cried because I don't know, shucks, I'm gonna cry. I just felt that that letter was more than just them informing me that I passed. It was more of, it was a promise of a better future for my family. That's why it's like, it was very overwhelming for me and my mom. So we started crying together because I passed. So yeah. Okay, let me just control myself for a while. I'll be right. So yeah, I found out that I passed. We were told to do our medicals. We were briefed about the salary. Imagine that I went for the application without even knowing how much a cabin crew earns in a month. And I was so surprised, and I was really happy to know that it pays really well. All I wanted was to get a job, a paying job, and I had no idea that cabin crews earn that much, even in the Philippines. So I was like really super happy at that time. So now, We started with the training. By the way, before when we were being briefed that we were gonna do the training, that we will have to train for 2 months, I was so surprised because I'm sorry, this might sound stupid, but in my head, I was thinking that like all those times, I was thinking that once you're hired as a cabin crew, you start flying. And then you learn everything that you're supposed to learn up in there inside the aircraft. And so I was surprised that you have to go through a 2 month training to become a cabin crew. And during that time, if you're on training, you're not paid for that. So yeah, I don't know where my mom would give me the allowance to go to work. I would bring my heels with me inside my bag during the training because I don't want to pay for taxi. So I would take the bus, the public transport bus, with full makeup, and then I would just wear flats and put my heels inside my bag because after taking the bus, I will need to walk for a little bit, take a jeepney. If you don't know what a jeepney looks like, I'm gonna show it to you right here. So I'll take the jeepney, and then maybe like 10 minutes from that place, I will go down and then cross a bridge, like a footbridge, go down, and then take another jeepney to go to Cebu Pacific. So that was my daily routine because I did not want to spend on taxi. I'm very cheap and I want to save my money for something else. That's why I did not take taxi. And the good thing was our lunch was free. So that's good. Everyday lunch was free with during our training. Halfway through the training, the results for my board exam was released, and I passed. So now I am faced with a dilemma. Should I continue with this training that I'm having with Cebu Pacific, or should I just leave and continue with nursing? The problem was the day before the board exam result was released, we were asked to sign a contract. And on that contract, we have a bond. Like if you leave the airline less than 2 years, you'll have to pay that bond. And obviously, I didn't have the money to pay for that. So I told my parents, I asked them, what should I do? I don't have this amount to pay for that bond. And they told me, why don't you give it a try for some time? Maybe after 2 years, you can always go back to nursing. Or if you enjoy flying, if you enjoy being a flight attendant, then you can still pursue that. They are very supportive with whatever I wanted to do at that point in my life. Because I already passed my licensure exam, they were more than happy about that. So I was like free to do what I want. If I want to continue nursing or if I want to be a flight attendant. And to be honest, during that time, the more practical choice was to continue with the flight attendant job because obviously I need, me and my family, we need that money, whatever money that I will be earning from flying or working as a flight attendant. So the choice was made. I stuck with being a flight attendant. And I enjoyed my time with Cebu Pacific. I think I was pretty much lucky because my adjustment and my transition with the airline was made very easy because of the very good people from the management of Cebu Pacific. Given a chance to work with them again, I wouldn't even think twice. I would work with Cebu Pacific if I'm not currently working with my airline right now. I had an especially great time whenever they would pull me out for special assignments where we would go somewhere else, like for events of Cebu Pacific, or to take photos for the ads and whatnot. I really enjoyed my time with Cebu Pacific. I think working with Cebu Pacific is one of my life's greatest adventures. And obviously, working with them brought about a very good change in the status of my family. So I owe a lot. I owe a lot to Cebu Pacific. And because of those things, I was very vocal in saying that no, I'm never gonna move to an international airline. Never, never, never. That's how I would usually say because I was thinking, it's okay to work with a local airline. At least at the end of the day, I get to go home and spend time with my family. Unlike if I'm gonna work for an international airline, I will have to uproot myself, move myself to another place, and for all those reasons. So I was like, no, no, never, 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 never gonna work for an international airline. But then again, the universe, the universe had a different plan for me. I think after almost 1 year of working with Cebu Pacific, somebody told me that Qatar Airways will be holding an open day in Manila. And by that time, I was already getting curious. Like, why is everybody so interested in working for Qatar Airways? Like, every time Qatar Airways would be in the Philippines, like a lot of the people that I know working in my airline would miss their flights, report sick or whatever, just to go to that open day. I think I got curious because of of people talking more about it, and it sort of presented a challenge for me that, will I be able to pass their interview? Because I've been hearing that a lot of people go for the interview, but they don't, unluckily, they don't pass. So it's like, I think this will present a new challenge for me. This is a new challenge. I want to try. Let me see. So now, the thoughts started digging in my head. But I said, okay, I asked for a sign. If I don't have a day off on that day that Qatar Airways is going to the Philippines, I'm not going. Because I don't want to intentionally miss a flight or report sick just to go for another job interview. I mean, I don't have anything against people who do this, but for me, I honored my job so much at that time. I was like a very, very loyal employee that I don't want to go on another interview and miss any of my flights, because what if I don't pass and I'll be in trouble with the airline that I'm currently working for. So cut long story short, on that same day that somebody told me that Qatar Airways was hiring, the roster came out, our monthly schedule came out, and lo and behold, I will be arriving from a night flight. So meaning I'll be arriving early, early morning, probably like maybe 4 in the morning, and then I will have 2 days off after. I suddenly got nervous and excited at the same time, because I felt like, I think this is a sign. This is a sign that I should go for it, that I should try. So that was the only time that I opened up to Paolo, who was still my boyfriend at that time. I remember it clearly. He picked me up from work after a flight, and we went to Mall of Asia, and we were walking in the seaside behind Mall of Asia. So we were walking, and I opened up to him. I don't know if he still remembers because his memory is really bad. So I was like, babe, Qatar Airways will be recruiting here in Manila next month. I think I want to try. And he was just, being Paolo, he's just very supportive all the time. Not even once did he say no. All he said was that, of course, in our own language, I will just translate. He's like, okay, if that is what you want, but we won't be able to go on dates like this as often if you'll be working somewhere else. But if that will make you happy, then go for it. And I really appreciated that he understood what I wanted, and he didn't even stop me. He's that kind of unselfish person, and for that I really, really thank him. So yeah, I told my parents about it, that I want to try with an international airline. I think it didn't really sink in at first with my parents that if I pass this interview, I will have to move somewhere else. So they were just like, okay, go ahead. The recruitment day, the open day arrived in Manila, and my mom and Paulo accompanied me to Manila Hotel, where they had to wait outside from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. until I finished my open day. After giving my CV, I was told that I should wait for either a call or a text from them if I will be invited for an assessment day, because that time they don't give the invitations. They will call you or text you if you pass the open day. So it was already, I think, 6 p.m. at that same day, 6 p.m. I haven't received any call, or I did not receive a text yet. So I was very disheartened while I was washing the dishes. I was telling Paolo, babe, I think I did not pass because I'm doing the action of washing dishes. Babe, I think I did not pass because it's already 6 p.m. and I did not get a call yet. So I think I did not pass. Maybe it's okay, but maybe I will try again next time. And then he was like, come on, the night is still young, the night is not over yet. Maybe you're gonna receive it after a few hours. That's what he told me. True enough, at around 8 o'clock in the evening, I received a text message saying that you are invited for the assessment day. Kindly bring this and this with you at this and this time in same Manila Hotel. I did not believe that text. I was like, maybe somebody's playing a prank on me. So what I did, since we did not have a telephone that time, I asked my mom and Paolo to go out with me. We went to the neighbor and I called the landline of the agency handling the recruitment for Qatar Airways in the Philippines. I called them because I did not trust the text message. So I called and they told me that yeah, you're lined up for the assessment day tomorrow. Please come on time at 8 in the morning and la la la. Cut long story short. So yeah, I went for the assessment day. I passed the assessment day and then final interview. For the final interview, after the final interview, I had to wait for maybe 4 weeks to receive a letter. In between those times, the other girls that was in the final interview with me already got their reject letter. So I was, giving myself the pep talk. Don't worry, don't worry. If you got rejected, you would have received a letter by now saying that, that you're rejected. Unless they forgot about me. So yeah, I was just giving myself the pep talk, encouraging myself. It's okay, even if you don't pass, you still have a job. There's nothing to lose. There's always a next time. Maybe it's not your time yet. It's not for you. Every day I would open my email, hoping that there would be a message from Qatar Airways telling me that I have already passed the final interview. Until one day, I opened my email and then I saw the name of the recruitment officer handling my application. I was so scared to open it. So I'm like, what? Should I open it now or should I not? But okay. I clicked on the email with one eye closed as if that's gonna help. So yeah, I clicked and the first thing I saw was congratulations, and I'm like, yes, I passed the interview. I was really happy that I only had to do it on one try. I really think that my mom is my lucky charm because whenever I go on anything with her, it's always a good result. So yeah, my mom is my lucky charm. And so I did the medicals, I completed all the requirements and whatnot. And on that fateful day of August 4, 2012, I embarked on a new journey. It was at that time that I knew how it felt to spread your wings and fly to the unknown, because everything for me was a blank page. I really did not have any idea what it was like once I get to Doha. It was really a combination of excitement and fear, fear of the unknown, because I really did not know what to expect once I get here. Moving to Doha has taught me a lot of life lessons. I've really grown as a person from the time that I arrived here and up to this point. By the way, I just celebrated my 7th year with the company, 7 years here in this country. And yeah, I really learned a lot here. I remember that it wasn't easy the first few months that I was here. There were a lot of times that I wanted to give up. I remember feeling that I've never been this tired in my life. I would sometimes find myself crying inside the lavatory because I am so homesick. I miss my family and I'm just really tired. Why do I have to do this? What did I put myself into? But like what I've said, I wouldn't be the person that I am right now if I did not choose to take this leap of faith, to move to Doha or to even apply for this airline to begin with. I wouldn't be the same person if I did not choose to embark on this journey. And that is the end of my how I became a cabin crew story. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. As you would notice, none of this was part of my plan, but I just accepted what was thrown at me with open arms. I hugged it, because if you manage to stay at this point of my video, I just want to tell you, maybe you think you are not in the place that you are supposed to be, or that it is not how you pictured your life to be. But I just want to tell you, trust the process and take action. Sometimes, you shouldn't limit yourself to the choices that you make for yourself. You should widen your horizon and take that leap of faith, because that's the only time that you're gonna grow as a person. You might not get it right the first time, but that's okay. You might not even get it right the second time or the third time. But in the grand scheme of things, what is meant for you will always be for you in the right time. This has been Days with Kath. I will see you next time. Bye!